Beneath the stunning beauty of Krakow lies a secret world, a hidden network of fortresses, tunnels, and military strongholds stretching across hills, forests, and even the city streets. This is the Krakow Fortress, one of Europe's most ambitious and sprawling defensive systems, built to guard the very heart of an empire. What you see today as peaceful parks and quiet hills were once heavily armed bastions, designed to withstand a storm of steel. Join us as we uncover the forgotten story of this incredible fortress city, exploring its rise, its secrets, and its enduring legacy. This isn't just a story about walls and cannons. It's about an entire city transformed into a weapon, a shield of stone and earth that shaped the course of history. In the mid-19th century, the Austro-Hungarian Empire faced a volatile world. Tensions were rising, borders were shifting, and military strategy was paramount. In this climate, the ancient city of Krakow, known for its culture and trade, was given a new, fearsome identity. Positioned at a strategic crossroads near the border with the Russian Empire, Krakow became essential for defending the empire's northern flank. By imperial decree, the city would no longer be just a cultural capital, it would become a bastion of stone and steel. The plan was audacious: to encircle the entire city with a multi-layered defensive system so powerful it could hold off an entire army. The Austrians poured immense resources into this project, transforming Krakow into one of the largest and most modern fortress complexes in all of Europe. Old maps and military plans from the era reveal the sheer scale of their ambition, a blueprint for a city under permanent siege. The first phase of this transformation began close to the city's historic core. The Austrians didn't just build new structures, they reinvented the very idea of city walls. The first ring of fortifications included massive bastions, heavily armed gates, and powerful artillery positions built just outside the old medieval limits. These early structures combined classical, Renaissance-inspired designs with the latest in modern gun defenses, creating a unique hybrid of old and new military architecture. Fort Kleppers, for example, stands as a prime example of this initial ring. With its thick walls and carefully angled firing positions, it was designed to protect Krakow's historic heart. These inner forts weren't just isolated strongpoints. They were interconnected, designed to provide overlapping fields of fire and coordinate defenses across the city's entire perimeter, turning the approaches to Krakow into a deadly kill zone for any attacking force. But military technology was evolving at a breakneck pace. As artillery became more powerful and its range increased, fortifications had to adapt. The inner ring was no longer enough. So the Austrians embarked on an even grander project, a second, much larger ring of forts. These were enormous, self-sufficient structures built miles out from the city center, forming a massive ring of steel around Krakow. Spaced several kilometers apart, each of these outer forts was a fortress in its own right, capable of operating independently even if it was completely surrounded and cut off during a siege. Fort Kostrzycz, perched high on a hill overlooking the city, became one of the most powerful positions in the entire system, its guns commanding a vast panorama. To the north, Fort Tony controlled the main approaches from the Russian border, while to the south, Fort 31 Benedict guarded the Vistula River crossing. In total, over 40 major forts, along with dozens of smaller batteries and shelters, formed this immense defensive shield, making Krakow virtually impregnable. The Krakow Fortress was far more than just a collection of walls and cannons. It was an engineering masterpiece, a testament to the ingenuity of 19th-century military science. The designers employed cutting-edge techniques to make these forts as resilient as possible. Instead of just stone, they used massive, sloping earth ramparts, which were incredibly effective at absorbing the explosive energy of modern artillery shells. Underground, a labyrinth of tunnels connected different parts of each fort, allowing troops and supplies to move safely even under heavy bombardment. These tunnels also served as communication lines between units and provided sheltered escape routes. Perhaps the most impressive innovation was the use of armored domes. These heavy steel cupolas concealed the main artillery guns. They could be raised to fire and then lowered back into their protective shells, and many could rotate 360 degrees, allowing the guns to strike targets in any direction while remaining almost completely protected from enemy fire. Each fort was a self-sustaining world, complete with its own barracks, kitchens, ammunition stores, command centers, and even wells for fresh water. When World War I erupted in 1914, the Krakow Fortress was finally put to the test. It became a crucial stronghold on the brutal Eastern Front, a vital anchor for the Austro-Hungarian army. As massive Russian forces advanced deep into Galicia in the early months of the war, they set their sights on Krakow. The city and its ring of forts prepared for an epic and bloody siege. Artillery duels raged, and the garrison stood ready for intense combat. Though the main Russian assault was ultimately repelled before it reached the main fortress line, the very presence of this formidable defensive system was decisive. It stabilized the imperial lines during a critical phase of the war, preventing a catastrophic collapse. The fortress also protected key railway lines that ran through Krakow, ensuring that troops and supplies could continue to flow to the front. The city was never taken, and its shield of steel and stone had successfully fulfilled its purpose. With the end of the war in 1918 came the collapse of the Austro-Hungarian Empire. The vast political entity that the Krakow Fortress was built to defend ceased to exist. Suddenly, this massive, expensive, and powerful military system lost its purpose. Poland was reborn as an independent nation, and the new borders meant Krakow was no longer a frontier city. The once mighty ring of defenses began a slow decline. Many of the forts were abandoned and left to the mercy of the elements. Some were repurposed by the Polish army for storage or training, while others were stripped of their valuable metal and left as empty shells. Nature began to reclaim them. The once manicured firing fields grew into forests, and ivy crept over the stone walls. For decades, the fortress system slowly faded into the landscape, its story forgotten, hidden beneath quiet trees, public parks, and sprawling new neighborhoods that grew up around them. In recent years, however, Krakow's forts have been rediscovered. A new generation of historians, urban explorers, and preservationists has begun to uncover this forgotten world. The story of the fortress city is being brought back to light, and the structures themselves are being given new life. Some of the most prominent forts have been beautifully restored. Fort Kosciuszko, with its panoramic views, now hosts a museum and cultural events. Fort Kleppers has become a unique venue for concerts and exhibitions. Others, however, remain as mysterious, atmospheric ruins explored by historians and adventurers who carefully navigate their dark, silent tunnels. Together, whether restored or ruined, they form a vast, open-air museum of military architecture. They are a tangible link to the past, a powerful reminder of an era when Krakow stood not just as a cultural jewel, but as the heavily armed shield of a dying empire. Today, the Krakow Fortress stands as a quiet guardian of the past. Its massive walls no longer echo with the thunder of artillery, but with the footsteps of visitors uncovering its hidden stories. They are places of reflection where you can feel the weight of history and imagine the lives of the soldiers who once stood watch here. The fortress is a symbol of resilience, of incredible engineering brilliance, and of a forgotten chapter in the history of one of Europe's most beautiful and beloved cities. It is a legacy written in stone and earth, a story of how a city prepared for a war that, for it, never fully came, but whose preparations defined it for a century. This is Krakow Fortress, a city defended by stone, strategy, and centuries of history. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into the past, be sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more hidden histories.